Imagine standing on ancient cobblestones, surrounded by towering walls that whisper secrets of kings, queens, and countless generations before us. Beyond those walls lie hidden chambers, majestic halls, and stories of bravery, love, and intrigue that span centuries. From the misty highlands of Scotland to the serene landscapes of Japan, castles have served as royal residences, formidable fortresses, and architectural marvels. Today, we're embarking on a global journey to explore the 15 most amazing castles in the world, each with its own fascinating history, breathtaking design, and enduring legacy. In this video, we'll delve into the unique features that set these castles apart, the histories that shape them, and the surprising facts that make them must-see destinations for travelers and history buffs alike. If you love exploring hidden corners of the world and learning something new along the way, then you're in the right place. So, get comfortable and let your imagination transport you across continents and centuries. And remember, as we journey through these impressive landmarks, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let us know which castle captures your heart the most, or share one you think should have made our list. Ready to step back in time? 1. Neuschwanstein Castle, Germany. Our first stop is the fairy tale castle that has inspired countless stories and even served as a model for Disney's iconic Cinderella castle, Neuschwanstein Castle in Germany. Nestled in the Bavarian Alps near the town of Füssen, this 19th-century Romanesque revival palace rises dramatically above a picturesque valley. Built for King Ludwig II of Bavaria, often referred to as the fairy tale King, Neuschwanstein is a testament to his imaginative vision and love for romantic, medieval aesthetics. Fairy tale architecture, with its pointed turrets, towering spires, and elaborate frescoes, the castle looks like it's been plucked straight out of a storybook. Breathtaking setting, situated on a rugged hill, surrounded by lakes and mountains, the views of the Bavarian countryside are second to none. Construction began in 1869, but King Ludwig II died mysteriously in 1886 before it was fully completed. Despite its medieval appearance, Neuschwanstein was equipped with modern conveniences of the time, including running water and even a rudimentary telephone line. Today, it's one of Germany's most visited attractions, welcoming around 1.4 million tourists each year. Have you ever visited Neuschwanstein Castle or perhaps dreamed of exploring it? Let us know in the comments below. 2. Edinburgh Castle, Scotland. Next, we travel to the windswept hills of Scotland's capital city to visit the imposing Edinburgh Castle. Perched atop Castle Rock, this formidable fortress has dominated Edinburgh's skyline for centuries. Archaeological evidence suggests that humans have settled in this spot since the Iron Age. Over time, it evolved into a royal residence, a military stronghold, and now one of Scotland's most beloved landmarks. Strategic location, Castle Rock is an extinct volcanic plug, providing natural defense on all sides. Royal and military heritage, Edinburgh Castle once housed the Scottish crown jewels, known as the Honours of Scotland, and the Stone of Destiny, an ancient symbol of Scotland's monarchy. 1 o'clock gun, every day, except Sunday, a cannon is fired at precisely 1 p.m. This tradition dates back to 1861, originally used to help ships in the Firth of Forth synchronize their clocks. Edinburgh Castle is known as the most besieged place in Great Britain, having faced more than 26 major sieges in its 1,100-year history. The castle's St. Margaret's Chapel, built in the early 12th century, is the oldest surviving building in Edinburgh. Some locals claim that the castle's dungeons are haunted by restless spirits of prisoners captured in global conflicts. 3. Château de Chambord, France. Our journey now takes us into the heart of the Loire Valley in France, home to some of Europe's most exquisite Renaissance architecture. Château de Chambord stands out among them for its distinctive French Renaissance style, blended with classical Italian structures. Commissioned by King Francis I in the 16th century, the chateau was meant to serve primarily as a royal hunting lodge, an undeniably grand one at that. Double helix staircase. Legend attributes the design of this spiral staircase to Leonardo da Vinci, who spent his final years in France under Francis I's patronage. Two people can descend or ascend without ever meeting on the same flight. Elaborate rooftop. The lanterns, chimneys, and spires create a unique skyline, sometimes described as a floating city. Massive grounds. The estate covers about 13,500 acres, enclosed by a 20-mile wall, making it the largest enclosed forest park in Europe. Although it has over 440 rooms and 365 fireplaces, the chateau was never fully furnished. King Francis I only spent a total of around 72 nights at Chambord throughout his reign. During World War II, the French government used the chateau to temporarily store and protect national art treasures, including the Mona Lisa. 4. Himeji Castle, Japan. Traveling to Asia, we encounter Himeji Castle, located in Himeji City in Hyogo Prefecture, Japan. Also known as the White Heron Castle, its stark white exterior and elegant, bird-like roof design evoke the image of a heron taking flight. Himeji Castle is widely recognized as the finest surviving example of Japanese castle architecture, featuring a maze-like approach that was deliberately designed to disorient and confuse intruders. Brilliant white facade. The castle's exterior walls are coated with white plaster, which is both beautiful and fire-resistant. Complex defense system. From moats and gates to hidden pathways and angled slopes, the castle's layout stands as a masterpiece of feudal-era military design. Views of cherry blossoms. In spring, the castle grounds are awash with over 1,000 cherry trees, offering breathtaking scenes of pink petals against the white walls. The main keep was completed in 1609 and has survived centuries of war, natural disasters, and even bombings during World War II. Himeji Castle is one of Japan's first UNESCO World Heritage Sites, designated in 1993. Renovations completed in 2015 ensured the castle's preservation, a project costing around 2.4 billion yen, roughly $22 million at the time. 5. Windsor Castle, England. One of the oldest and largest inhabited castles in the world is Windsor Castle in England. Located in the county of Berkshire, just west of London, Windsor Castle has been a royal residence for nearly 1,000 years and remains one of the official homes of the British monarch. Impressive size and grounds, covering around 13 acres, the complex includes the state apartments, St. George's Chapel, and the famous Round Tower. Changing of the Guard, a smaller, more intimate version of the ceremony at Buckingham Palace, can be witnessed here. Long Walk. This tree-lined avenue extends from the castle gates all the way to the Copper Horse statue, offering iconic views of the castle's silhouette. The castle was founded in the 11th century by William the Conqueror, shortly after the Norman conquest of England. St. George's Chapel is the resting place of various monarchs, including Henry VIII and Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth II spent many weekends at Windsor Castle, and the castle was also her primary residence for extended periods during her reign. 6. Prague Castle, Czech Republic. Dominating the skyline of the Czech capital, Prague Castle is more than just a single structure. It's a sprawling complex that includes palaces, churches, gardens, and defense towers. Located on a hill overlooking the Vltava River, it has been the seat of Czech rulers for over 1,000 years. The Guinness Book of World Records cites Prague Castle as the largest ancient castle complex in the world, covering nearly 70,000 square meters. St. Vitus Cathedral, the spiritual heart of the Czech Republic, this Gothic cathedral is renowned for its stunning stained glass windows. Golden Lane, a charming street of tiny, colorful houses once inhabited by goldsmiths, legend has it, even the writer Franz Kafka lived here for a short time. Vineyards and gardens, the castle complex boasts royal gardens and vineyards that offer some of the best panoramic views of Prague. Prague Castle's history dates back to the 9th century, evolving through Romanesque, Gothic, and modern architectural phases. The castle's Bohemian crown jewels are traditionally kept hidden within a sealed chamber inside St. Vitus Cathedral. During the reign of Holy Roman Emperor Rudolf II in the late 16th century, Prague Castle was a hub of science, astrology, and alchemy. What part of Prague Castle would you be most eager to explore? The cathedral, the historic lanes, or perhaps the royal gardens? 7. Castel del Monte, Italy. In the Apulia region of southeast Italy stands the mysterious and geometrically fascinating Castel del Monte. Built in the mid-13th century by Emperor Frederick II, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is famous for its octagonal design, which merges elements of classical antiquity, Islamic art, and Northern European Gothic styles. Octagonal geometry. Not only is the castle itself octagonal, but each of its 8 towers is also an octagon, showcasing a perfect symmetry rarely seen in medieval structures. Blend of cultures. The castle's design reflects Frederick II's wide-ranging intellect and his interactions with scholars of different faiths and backgrounds. Strategic yet uncertain purpose. Its location atop a hill offers commanding views of the surrounding countryside, yet historians still debate whether it was built as a fortress, hunting lodge, or simply a monument to Frederick II's love of architecture. Castel del Monte has no moat or typical defensive structures like arrow slits or a drawbridge. Frederick II was known as the Stupa Mundi, wonder of the world, due to his cultural and scientific pursuits. The castle fell into disrepair over centuries, with much of its marble and furnishings removed. Restoration efforts in the 19th century helped preserve its iconic form. 8. Bran Castle, Romania. Often linked to the legend of Dracula, Bran Castle in Romania sits on a cliff near the Bran Pass, a strategic route through the Carpathian Mountains. Although it's popularly known as Dracula's castle, its ties to Bram Stoker's famous vampire are tenuous. There's no evidence that Stoker ever visited or that Vlad the Impaler, the alleged inspiration for Dracula, resided here for any significant period. Picturesque mountain setting, surrounded by thick forests and misty slopes, the castle's dramatic silhouette fuels its eerie reputation. Medieval ambience, narrow corridors, hidden staircases, and timbered rooms create an authentically Gothic atmosphere. Bran Castle was first mentioned in documents in 1377. It served primarily as a border fortress. Queen Marie of Romania made the castle her royal residence in the early 20th century, renovating and modernizing many rooms. Despite its Dracula lore, the castle's real history centers more on its role as a defensive stronghold and a royal retreat. Are you team spooky vampire lore, or are you more into the real historical stories behind castles like Bran? 9. Penha Palace, Portugal. One of the most colorful and whimsical palaces in Europe is the Penha Palace, perched on a hill above the town of Sintra, near Lisbon. Erected in the 19th century, the palace is a vibrant blend of Manueline and Moorish styles, featuring bright yellows, blues, and reds that make it stand out like a jewel in the lush Sintra Mountains. Romantic architecture. Penha Palace embodies 19th century romanticism, merging different architectural styles into a flamboyant, almost fairy tale-like design. Panoramic views. From its terraces, visitors can see Lisbon on a clear day, as well as the Atlantic coastline. Exotic Park, Surrounding the palace is an extensive park filled with exotic plant species sourced from around the world by King Ferdinand II. Built on the ruins of an old monastery, Peña Palace was commissioned by Ferdinand II, who transformed it into a summer residence for the Portuguese royal family. Sintra, including Peña Palace, was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995. The palace's vibrant colors were restored in the early 21st century, returning it to the original eye-catching palette that had faded over time. If you visited Peña Palace, would you be more excited to explore the eclectic interiors or wander through the sprawling gardens? 10. Alcazar of Segovia, Spain. Emerging from a rocky crag at the confluence of two rivers in central Spain, the Alcazar of Segovia resembles the bow of a stone ship. This castle palace is famed for its unique shape and fairy tale-like turrets that many say inspired Walt Disney's Cinderella Castle as well. It has served multiple roles over the centuries, from royal residence to military academy. Ship-like layout, the Alcazar's pointed towers and narrow shape appear like a ship sailing through the landscape. Royal tapestries and art, interiors showcase ornate ceilings, stained glass windows, and valuable tapestries depicting Spain's royal history. Tower of John II, climb the 152 steps for sweeping views of Segovia, including its iconic Roman aqueduct. The original fortress likely dates back to Roman times, but it was expanded and renovated extensively by the Castilian monarchy. Ever been to Segovia or seen photos of this ship-like castle? Tell us if it's on your travel wish list. 11. Mont Saint-Michel, France. While often referred to as an abbey or monastery, Mont Saint-Michel is also considered a fortress-like structure that has withstood centuries of conflict and tidal surges. Located off the coast of Normandy in France, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is perched atop a rocky tidal island. During high tide, Mont Saint-Michel is surrounded by water, seemingly floating off the French coast. Tidal island, the difference between high and low tide can be as much as 14 meters, 46 feet, dramatically transforming the landscape. Medieval architecture, the abbey's fortifications give it a distinctly castle-like feel, with walls, towers, and ramparts. Pilgrimage destination, for centuries, Mont Saint-Michel has been a spiritual center, attracting pilgrims and tourists alike. Column construction on the abbey began in the 8th century, and expansions continued throughout the medieval period. Mont Saint-Michel was never successfully taken by English forces during the 100 Years' War. A new causeway completed in 2014 preserves the island's tidal nature, ensuring it remains an awe-inspiring sight. 12. Eltz Castle, Germany. Hidden in the hills above the Moselle River between Koblenz and Trier, Eltz Castle is a medieval treasure that has remained remarkably intact throughout its 850-year history. Unlike many castles in Europe, it has never been destroyed, owing partly to its secluded location and diplomatic owners who avoided major conflicts. Untouched medieval charm, much of the original furniture and architecture still remain, giving visitors a genuine step back in time. Family heritage, Eltz Castle has been in the same family, House of Eltz, for over 30 generations. Construction began in the 12th century, but the castle underwent expansions and renovations over several centuries. 13. Bodiam Castle, England. With its symmetrical towers rising out of a watery moat, Bodiam Castle in East Sussex, England, is an archetype of a medieval castle straight from a storybook. Built in 1385 by a former knight of King Edward III, Bodiam was intended to defend against a potential French invasion during the 100 Years' War. 14. Buda Castle, Hungary. Overlooking the Danube River in Budapest, Buda Castle stands as a monumental complex blending Baroque splendor with Gothic foundations. The medieval castle district also includes the Fisherman's Bastion, Matthias Church, and winding cobbled streets that evoke the Hungarian capital's storied past. Panoramic views of Budapest, from the castle ramparts, you can see the Chain Bridge, the Parliament building, and the sprawling cityscape. Art and history museums, The Hungarian National Gallery and the Budapest History Museum are located within the castle complex. Fisherman's Bastion, a neo-Gothic terrace offering some of the most Instagram-worthy vistas in all of Budapest. Originally built in the 13th century, the complex was repeatedly expanded and remodeled, especially during the reign of the Habsburgs. World War II bombings heavily damaged Buda Castle, leading to decades of restoration work. Parts of the original medieval walls are still visible, juxtaposed against later Baroque additions. If you had one evening to spend in Budapest, would you explore Buda Castle's museums, or stroll the terraces to watch the sunset over the Danube? 15. Catherine Palace, Russia. While often referred to as a palace, Catherine Palace near St. Petersburg also functions as a fortified residence, boasting thick walls, grand gates, and watchtowers. Commissioned in the 18th century by Empress Elizabeth and named in honor of her mother, Catherine I, this royal residence showcases the grandeur of the Russian imperial court. Rococo facade, the vibrant blue and white exterior with gold accents stretches nearly 1,000 feet. The Amber Room, often called the eighth wonder of the world, this chamber adorned with amber panels was looted during World War II and later meticulously reconstructed. Expansive gardens, inspired by French formal gardens and English landscape styles, the palace grounds feature pavilions, sculptures, and ornamental lakes. The palace was designed by several architects, including the Italian-born Bartolomeo Rastrelli. During World War II, the palace suffered extensive damage. Restoration efforts to bring back its former splendor are still ongoing in some areas. Empress Catherine II, Catherine the Great, preferred the nearby Peterhof Palace for daily life, although she did entertain at Catherine Palace. From Western Europe's storybook silhouettes to Asia's meticulously crafted strongholds and beyond, these 15 amazing castles remind us how deeply architecture can capture the imagination and embody a region's history, culture, and identity. Each fortress, whether perched on a dramatic cliff, nestled in a forest, or set on a tidal island, tells a timeless story of human endeavor, aspiration, and creativity. So, which castle sparked your wanderlust the most? Share your favorite in the comments, or let us know if there's an incredible castle we should explore in a future video. If you enjoyed traveling back in time with us, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you'll be the first to know when we release more videos exploring the world's most fascinating places, from hidden gems to iconic landmarks. Thank you for joining us on this unforgettable tour of some of the greatest castles on Earth. Until next time, keep discovering, keep dreaming, and we'll see you soon on our next adventure.